Hi everyone! Each year I try to color at least one picture for the Christmas in July. And this year I had another good reason to do a Christmas page. Amy has gifted me beautiful Escape to Christmas Past book, and of course I wanted to start coloring in it immediately. I selected this bakery picture, and as usual, I will be doing an underpaint using watercolors and a little bit of Derwent Inktense. And in the second video, I will be working on details with regular pencils and I think with paints. For the evening winter sky, I selected two colors of White Nights watercolors. The main one is Blue Lake, and I am totally in love with this color. It's very beautiful, very rich blue. And in the upper part, I added also a little bit of violet. Sky in the upper part has to be slightly lighter, especially around the hanging lamp. And that's why I used my second brush, and it was clean and almost dry, and while watercolor was still wet, I erased paint from this area using this clean brush. Both brushes which I use are from Jackson's Art, and as usual I will leave you links in the info box below. I think that paper in this book is very forgiving to beginners. You can wash away paint if you are not happy with color and paint didn't bleed through. I will show you my backside in the end of this video, so no problems at all. And I also think that paint pigment spread quite nicely on the paper surface, even in the areas where we have a printed image. Sometimes it's not so in other books. For the building, I used a mix of burnt sienna with a little bit of burnt umber for the shadow parts, but I can't say that I was very happy with the color which I selected for the brick walls. I definitely will be working more on these areas. And I don't know why, but I was very frustrated with the black lines on the bricks. Maybe I already started to get used to erasing black lines, and I think that I will erase them maybe using acrylic or gouache paint. I don't know why I am so unhappy with my bricks. I did another unhappy choice of colors when I selected carmine as a color for the bakery sign. I think that later I definitely will change it. I am not happy with this awful pink color. I don't think that it's suitable for the Victorian bakery. By the way, I must confess that I read A Christmas Carol book by Charles Dickens only once when I was a child, and honestly I wasn't particularly impressed. I think that I definitely had to read it once more as an adult, and also it will be easier for me to understand all pictures from this book. This picture isn't very easy to color, mostly because here we have two sources of light. One is the lamp outside the house, which highlighting all the wall of the building and parts of the snow on the windows and on the bakery sign. And the second source of light is window with, I think that it has to have a very strong and bright light inside the bakery. And for each object and each detail of the house, I have to think about highlights, about shadows, how many light it gets from both light sources, so again it's not very easy and you have to think about light and shadow constantly. It's a very fun thing, but each time when I use this technique, when I did first underpaint with watercolors and then uh, do small details using other mediums, in the end of this underpaint stage, I always think, oh my god, what an ugly result. I ruined this picture. I don't like it at all. I don't know what to do and how to correct my mistakes. And I had the similar doubts each time. But then, when I start to add and to work on small details, when I add some highlights, when I cover part of the black lines and convert my coloring page into something more close to the painting, I gradually start to be more happy with my process and with my result. I had similar thoughts when I looked at the picture in the end of this video, but I already realized that I have similar doubts each time when I work with watercolors in my coloring books, and somehow each time I managed to correct my mistake and to work on the details and to get quite satisfying result in, in the end of almost all of my colorings. So now I feel more confident. And when I add this voiceover to the video, I already finished almost the whole page. And I have to say that in the second part, page looks much more attractive. I corrected places with which I wasn't very happy, and this really helped me to get confidence and inspiration to finish this page. When I finished to work with watercolors, I switched to Derwent Intense, and first I used mostly sepia, but also baked earth and willow, and with those pencils I added more contrast to the walls. I think that one of the reasons why I switched to Inktense it's because I wanted to color parts of the building using green color. I think that green is quite suitable for the Victorian bakery, and Ionian green is one of my favorite pencils in the whole Derwent Inktense set, and that's why I knew that I wanted to use Ionian green. Additionally, I used light olive for more highlighted areas on the door and on the window. Difference wasn't very big, but still it helped me to decide for myself which areas I plan to do more highlighted and for which areas I will be putting more shadows in the second part on the next step when I will be working with regular pencils. I really love this idea of Christmas in July, and I also started to put a list of different handmade supplies which I need for all my planned handmade Christmas ornaments, which I want to do this year, and I plan to stitch something, to make something from felt, and also to do some table decorations, and I hope that I will film everything and I will show it to you. I thank you for watching and I hope to see you in the second part. I promise that bakery will look more interesting and less ugly than in the end of this video.